Morning. So I just want to, after doing the chakras, I want to take on the mat for a little bit of movement. So, oops, here's my phone. And just taking a minute on the mat to recenter, to bring yourself back, ready for some movement, obviously. When we've done some meditating, it's quite useful then to move the body and get it into that release mode. So if things have sort of come up and then we've kind of suppressed them back down, the movement is going to help to get this energy moving in your body. Yeah, quite simple then. So you can use the breath, you can focus it down into your mat and just finding a little bit of movement around your sit bones, around your pelvis, and just getting that movement. And obviously a lot of stuff, I got quite pins and needles down on my legs, so getting this to now open up and get that energy moving. So if it has stagnated, that energy obviously got blocked for me, that needs to now find a little bit of freedom and get this energy pumping back up and down. So I'm going to just slide my legs along and give them a flippy flop just to wake up a little bit into the back of the knee and just see how that feels. Flippy flop, windscreen wiper is always really good just to move that energy around a little bit and just see how the body feels when we are beginning to open it. A little bit of chest opener, let the head just drop back. Hands can be underneath the shoulders, or they can be a little bit further. It just depends where, how long your limbs are. So just finding that little bit of open across the chest. You can breathe into this. And just breathing into that. Not only the heart space, but the throat chakra. This will find a little bit of freedom along the throat. And then just release that into a little bit of a forward fold. You can soften off the knees if you want to. Just to find that little bit of movement across the back, so get the energy moving down the back here. And just bring the feet apart, a little bit of windscreen wiper along the through the hips. Shouldn't do my meditating first, it makes me get a bit spacey. And just open up a little bit into the hips here. This is a really nice release. This can come forward a little bit deeper, so if you're feeling you want to go deeper, be careful. You just walk your body a little bit closer to your heels, so that this becomes a little more closed action. Just allow that to, you can even take it up if you're feeling very mobile through the hips. You can take that up into a little bit of a supported squat. Just finding that across the hips, and obviously you can walk that back again. Just finding that release into any stuck areas. That was for me certainly a little bit stagnant in that area of my leg. Bring it into about a canasta band angle, just soles of the feet together. And this can be softened, you don't have to have it deep. Let's actually do a soft one. It's nice and soft energy. So just finding that little bit of rocking around, again, the hip area, the low back, the pelvis. You can cat-cow this, so rolling it over the back of the sit bones and coming back up onto the sit bones. So we're just finding a little bit of movement around the hips. I think a little bit of a hip opener to do would be quite useful, certainly for myself. So just finding that little bit of stretch over the sit bones, just so that we can find a little bit of release. Little rocking movements. My back is still a little tight just across here. Can't wait till my son does his massages again. That'll be what I need. And little twist positions here, again just to free up any stuck energies from the trunk to the pelvis. Letting that, let's just hang out into a static twist, and that'll give you the time to relax down into the legs here as well, because if they get a little bit up, a bit tense, then you can just let go of that tension in the hip. And that can go the other side, just very gently opening up. Letting go of that tension again, just in the hip. Just allowing that a little bit of breath. Noticing how that feels. Always stiffer this side for me. Head a little yes and no. Looks like it's going to be a nicer day today. Sun is out. And again, just take those circles, getting into those transference of weight from one sit bone to the other. And this is quite useful for feedback information of how you are sitting on your sit bones. So if you tend to sit predominantly on one side as opposed to the other, and this will give you the information. Little side to side rocking. You can take the arm to this actually, swing your belly side to side. Just finding that little bit of lateral stretch. I've just got to turn this way because I've not given myself enough space today. Everything's full. This weekend, full moon, full body, and just take that into a little stretch here, on a static stretch here. Again, notice if the hips are objecting, can we let go a little bit more? This left hip of mine is a little bit grumpy. And then changing sides, just stretching that away. Just breathing into it. Letting all that tension release out. Slowly release that back up. If you need a little bit of movement, go for a little bit of movement. Just taking one foot on top of the other. You can bring this a little closer if you want to, or you can keep the feet wherever it works for you. Careful of the ankle collapsing. So if the hips are a little grumpy, be careful that the ankle doesn't do the work. So make sure you're supported on the ankle and just flop that open a little bit. I'm a little crampy on my feet today, so just massaging down through the sole of the foot. Just give you a little bit of release on those crampy muscles. Just feel I'm not comfortable today. A lot of stuff going on with the full moon. Brings up a lot of stuff for us to notice, be aware of. I just need to circle my ankle. It just feels a little bit sticky on my ankles. My hip feels okay, but my ankle seems to be taking the pressure. So I'm just going to circle that ankle. And this is where we assess when we're in a posture. How does the posture feel? And where is the body objecting? And so if it's objecting, then do something about it. You don't want to suffer. No, no, no. And then just bring that back onto that hip opener. Again, if you want to just creep the hips a little closer to the feet, then you can do so. Just let that open up. And the hips. Okay, careful again of the ankle. I can just feel mine collapsing a little bit, so I'm just going to push that off the bottom foot a little bit so that it takes it off the ankle pressure. And then just slowly release that up, back into soles of the feet together. You might feel a little bit more open through that hip. Again, you can push the feet away, don't have to be close. And we'll try the other foot on top of the other foot. So just allowing that to open up again, if it needs a little bit of circling, if it needs releasing. I mean, the weather's gone a little colder, so the body might be contracted a little bit more, especially down in the feet. You know, we had that really hot weather and now it's gone a little chilly. Typical British weather. And just find that little bit of open and close if you need to, and then again come into that foot. This can come a little closer if you need it to. I mean, obviously don't force anything. My hips are quite open anyways. And then just let that breathe. Notice how does that feel? This is tighter on this hip, but the ankle is fine on this side. So different on both sides, and that again is okay. And it's just noticing where we need to let go. So this needs to let go deep into my hip flexor. Just being aware of what's happening. Obviously the hands can rest on the knees, but that's going to give you a little bit of extra pressure, so don't push. Make sure this is opening of its own accord. And it feels quite nice, the pressure across the arch of the foot, so if you do get crampy in your arches, that actually feels quite nice too. And then slowly undo that. Soles of the feet again come together. You can move the hips back a little bit if you need to. And then you can just let the feet peel open, or you can keep them together, whichever you prefer. And if you want the heels closer, just gently, don't pull. Walk your bottom towards the heels, just to add a little bit of depth. Might feel a little bit more open here. And then move the feet further away. We're just going to take a forward fold. And just bring the hands underneath the ankles to support them. Move your sit bones away and just let your head rest down. If you need a block, you can rest the block just in front of your feet. Let your head rest onto the block. So move your feet further away if they need to. Just let that breathe. And you'll just feel that through the opening of the hip. If you don't have the block or you want it lower, obviously adjust it as you need to. I'll need to go on my feet. Look at a long body. And just let that rest if you need a block. And find the breath, always come back to the breath. And you'll notice where the tension is. Let it breathe. Just let everything soften. You might even be able to take the block down a little bit deeper. Don't worry if you can't, you stay where it's comfortable for you. And let it breathe. Notice where the push and the pull is happening. Be able to let the blood go totally. Not quite for me. And slowly bringing that up, pretty slowly. Been down there a while. Bring the knees back in. I would suggest a little bit of windscreen wipering. Quite deep. Anybody else feel that? Woo. So just windscreen wiper the knees just to get that energy moving again. That feels very nice. And just give yourself a hug. Let that just open up the back of the body again. Lovely. And then I want to just continue with the hip openers. Actually, I'm going to keep the foot bent here, so this keeps this hip open. Allow the shoulder just to come inside the knee. Now this might be enough for you. You might just stay here, or you might be able to take the hand behind your back. So we just find a little bit of binding, so the hand comes behind the back, and we find then the hand or the wrist, and then resettle forward fold. Again, if you need a block, use your block. So just finding that little bit of stability, so we're not pushing into the floor. And just let that breathe again. And obviously you've got to use a little bit of stability, because if the hands are bound, you will find that you need to find your stability with your core. So just finding that little bit of breath. This foot can anchor you a little bit deeper, so just find that comfort zone and then let it relax. And this is really nice for the back as well. Trying to keep the knee so it faces in towards the shoulder. And then your block might be able to turn again. You might be able to just take your block down a little deeper. And then slowly bring that up. Undo the binding if you've had a bind. Ooh, that felt really nice. Undo the other leg. Just windscreen wiper, because this will have affected both sides. So just windscreen wiper the feet. So you just let go of any accumulated tension. Just let that free up. And then we'll do the other side. So hit the opposite leg, hugging in. Shoulder inside the knee. You can just hold the foot, you don't need to go all the way down to bind. Hand, if you are able to, comes behind your back. Other hand then finds the wrist. And then we find the forward fold. So let the head just rest, using a block or your books, cushions. And just let that breathe, let it open up naturally. Never force anything deep to start with. Just finding what is comfortable, and then let it yield. And if you feel you can turn the block, let the block turn. Might be able to turn it again, or if you can't, just go with what's right for you. Mine's in between the two. And slowly undo. Take out your bind. Bring yourself back up. Under the foot. Just flop the knees a little bit. Just find that movement. Make sure nothing has congested and gotten a little bit too sticky. up very nice, and I say back into Baddha Konasana. So bring the soles of the feet again. Let's see if there's any difference here. That might feel a little freer. And then bring the soles of the feet apart onto the floor. Just let the shoulders drop inside the knees again. If you need your block, take a block, get it ready. Hold on to the underside or place the hands down inside your feet. It really doesn't matter where. If you are wanting to try the bind here, then the hands start to work behind the back. I can't quite give my bind, so I'm staying here. And just let the head rest again. Find the edge of the block so that you find the breath, you find that release, and just let things soften. So the more we push, the further away you'll get from the posture you want to go into. And you have to listen to where we're pushing. And mine's always my head. A little roll. Roll side to side. It's very soothing. We're always thinking, overthinking. Let that head roll around a little bit. That might then come down. The block might be able to turn. And just let that breathe. And the block might be able to turn again, but don't worry if it can't. Just stay with where you're up to. And then slowly bringing that back up. Ooh. And you've been in a posture a long time, do take it slowly. Wing scream wiper again. Get that to move out a little bit. Back to your Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together. Make sure we've got nothing objecting. It's gone a little bit crampy. So just make sure we're not over squeezing. Soles of the feet can start to peel open, and here, if you want to, you lift up onto the block and then let the hips just drop down, and you want your hips to travel forward very slightly, so just opening up again into the hips and that traveling forward. So you want your sit bones off the block so that your pelvis can roll forward. And then you'll feel this opening up through the groin a little bit. So as the feet start to open, so that'll externally rotate your hips. You can use the thinner block if you want. I just happen to have the big block with me. And just let that open up. If you want to support your knees with another block, a book or cushion, you just place that underneath the knees. And I'll just support the legs if your hips aren't particularly open, so please support yourself. And you might find that the block will start to lift off the more your pelvis moves forward. And if you want to off block, that just helps to free up the pelvis a little bit. And then if we want to, we start to come forwards a little bit. So be careful here, do not force it. Again, the block can be used just to give you that release. So finding the block, allowing the feet to gently open through. Just let that breathe. Don't forget your heels do not need to be close to groin. You can take that wherever you need to take it. Block might be able to turn. Just notice for yourself where you're up to. And you might be able to turn the block one more time, but don't worry if you can't. So let that soften down. And slowly release the block. I will give yourself a little extra supported push. Woo. Up you come. You might find you're stuck a little bit in this position, so draw the feet, the knees in. Give it the windscreen wiper. Ooh. Anybody else feel that? Wow. Just give that a little bit of a windscreen wiper. Just to get those energies moving. Just flop out the knees a little bit, give those a little bit of a flip. And then we'll just counterpose that with a supported bridge. So we're going to roll down onto the floor. Gently, gently, take that all the way down. Just give the knees a little flip. A little bit of a circle. Oh, it feels very nice. Just you can flop the knees again here, side to side. And we're just going to counterpose with a supported bridge. So you take your blocks or your brick, place it underneath your back. Brick as well. Make sure it's comfortable for you, so find your place of comfort. Legs can stay either bent, so drop the knees in, or you can start to straighten up the legs if that's comfortable for you. And the arms can go overhead so that you're extending the whole of the front of the body. And just let this breathe. Some people like to cross the ankles so that you've got a little bit more of an extension into the hip flexors. So if you want to cross the ankles, notice how that feels. And the trick here is to let go of the hip flexors because they've been working hard for your forward folds. So letting go deep into the belly here. And if you've got the ankles crossed, you'll need to just cross them the opposite way. Just letting that breathe. Undo the ankles. Let the feet just relax where they are comfortable, or bend up the knees. And my back's still a little bit sticky, so I'm going to bend my knees up. And just let this incline release out any tension. And with each breath, you'll feel a little bit more of a release happening. Now, if you're ready, you can take out a brick at a time. So very gently lift up and drop it back down, and feel a lot comfier. Let's feel it's quite hollow. Just let that a little wiggle if it needs to, and then release the last few bricks. Bring it all the way down. Let the hips have a little wiggle, so just side to side. And then we'll just take that into a twist position, just to make sure there isn't any congestion in the low back. So just twisting. Now the knees can be crossed, it can be just together, they can be down a little lower, whichever you find. This is quite nice to release down the whole of the hip area if the knees are further away from you. Generally look away from the knees and you twist. Just let that breathe. Depends where you need it. Play around a little bit where you need that stretch to happen. And then changing sides. Again, you can have a little bit. Excuse me, puppy. Off you go. Off you go, mate. Go on, away. Thank you. And then changing sides for your twist. Neo's told me it's time to finish. Let the twist happen on the other side. Again, play with it. Do you need the knees further away? Do you need them up a little bit higher? Or even that bind, taking that bind around. I find that's really nice for the stretch all around the top of the glute here. So if that works for you, then you find this, the twist that works for you. Where does your body need that twist? And then let it breathe. And then undoing yourself. And let that just roll again. A little bit of rolling around. And then into Shavasana, so just gently let the legs roll down the floor. Arms can rest down by your sides. Find the breath. Tip of the nose, bring it down. Just start to tune in. Where does the body need to let go? Where could you feel the tension? And let this happen for 5 minutes, minimum 5 minutes. Just letting the body yield to the floor. Noticing where you're gripping. Let the breath come back to its natural rhythm. And then when you have finished your Shavasana, just start to find the breath, find a few little wiggles, a bit of flipping, flopping, a bit of movement, drawing up the knees, rolling the knees around a little bit, just noticing anything that needs to move, any movement that needs to happen. Really done in the shoulders, so the shoulders might just need a little bit of a circle, a bit of up and down. And you can hug the knees a bit tighter and just give them a little roll. And then rest over to one side, just roll the knees over, rest on your side. And depending how long you've been in your Shavasana, is how long you need to come back. You don't rush it. Just let the energies wake up again. And then gently push yourself back to a seated position. And welcome back. Just feel the hands. You can take a deep inhale if you want to take the arms overhead. And the exhale brings it down into the heart, prayer position or palms down. And just allow this now into the heart space. Gratitude. And my hips certainly need a little bit of opening, so letting go of anything stuck, any emotions that we've held on to, any blocked energy that feels stiff in the body. And my gratitude extends out to everybody, keeping that connection, staying in your heart space. And I thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a lovely day, everybody. Take care now. Stay alert, I think it is.